I'm going to name my skincare line 7th Avenue. And she was like, 7th Avenue? I like the sound of that. Why is that? So let me tell you guys why 7th Avenue. 7th Avenue is the street that I grew up.
Have you ever watched someone walk away from a chapter that once defined their entire life, only to realize they were already building something much bigger behind the scenes? Because that is exactly what is happening with Melody Shari. For years, fans knew her as one of the faces of Love and Marriage Huntsville. They watched her marriage, her heartbreak, her business journey, her battles, and the moments that changed her forever. But after 9 seasons, Melody made a decision that shocked the reality TV world. She walked away, and now she is showing everyone why. Melody is not sitting around waiting for another reality show to give her a storyline. She is creating her own. From beauty and entertainment to media, music, private fan communities, and major collaborations, her plans are starting to look less like a comeback and more like a complete reinvention. And the biggest surprise is that some of these moves were already happening before fans even realized what she was doing. So what exactly is Melody Shari planning next? And why does her future look so different from the life viewers watched on television? Let's get into it.
Some of the stuff y'all be saying that was active at the time, or this was this at the time, y'all have it all wrong. But that's another conversation for another day. So anyway, another conversation.
To understand why Melody's future plans have fans paying such close attention, you have to understand where she started. Before millions of people knew her name, Melody Shari was already an ambitious entrepreneur with a vision for her life. Love and Marriage Huntsville did not simply appear out of nowhere. Melody and her then-husband, Martell Holt, were among the people behind the concept that eventually became the OWN reality series. The original idea centered on successful Black professionals and entrepreneurs in Huntsville, Alabama, with business and community development at the heart of the story. The show eventually expanded into the ensemble cast viewers came to know. Then the cameras started rolling, and suddenly the woman who had been working behind the scenes was living her personal life in front of millions of strangers. That distinction matters, because it is one thing to build a business, raise children, manage relationships, and survive difficult moments privately. It is something completely different when every argument can become a storyline, every emotional reaction can become a headline, and every personal decision can be debated by people who have never met you. So what exactly is Melody Shari planning next, and why does her future look so different from the life viewers watched on television? Melody experienced that pressure in a very public way. Her marriage to Martell became one of the central stories surrounding the series.
Level hasn't been where I would like for it to be when it comes to it.
And I'm trying to do everything that I can.
I don't like late gym nights. Figure that part out where you don't have to go to the gym at night.
What may have once looked like a successful partnership gradually became associated with betrayal, heartbreak, divorce, and the difficult process of rebuilding a life while cameras were still watching. Melody was not simply dealing with the end of a marriage, she was dealing with the end of an identity that millions of viewers had connected to. She was a wife, she was a mother, she was a businesswoman, she was a reality star. And then she had to figure out who Melody was when one of those pieces no longer existed.
Pour a dime-sized amount of cleanser into the palm of your hand. Rub both hands together to create a foamy lather. Massage the product into your skin using gentle circular motion. Rinse the product from your face under lukewarm water or with a warm towel.
That is what made her transformation so interesting. Instead of disappearing, she started expanding. Her beauty business became a major part of her identity. Her music became another outlet. She continued developing projects outside the original reality show environment, and she began showing that she was interested in something much bigger than simply being known as somebody's ex-wife or somebody from a television cast. Then came the decision that changed everything. In January 2025, Melody officially announced that she was leaving Love and Marriage Huntsville after 9 seasons. She thanked fans for their support, but made it clear that her chapter with the show was ending.
There's a thing called workplace retaliation, and it's a legal terminology. And it's legal terminology. And when you're asked something and you do not move in the way that your superior wants you to move, and then they begin to retaliate.
In her statement, she described the experience as something that had given her opportunities, while also teaching her difficult lessons about life, relationships, and friendships. And that decision was bigger than television. It was Melody deciding that the next version of her life would not be controlled by an old storyline. But here's the twist. Leaving reality television did not mean Melody was leaving entertainment. It meant she was changing her position inside it. Instead of being the person waiting for cameras to follow her, she wanted to become the person creating what the cameras were following. That difference may be the most important part of her future. In a 2025 interview with Ebony, Melody explained that she had already been thinking about what could come after reality television. She spoke about her production company, Tilted Crowns Productions, and Nubian TV, a network she described as a way to create opportunities for other people, particularly Black women, to expand their own platforms. She also revealed that Season 2 of Sharnita's World had already been filmed and was in editing at the time of the interview.
Melody experienced that pressure in a very public way. Her marriage to Martell became one of the central stories surrounding the series. What may have once looked like a successful partnership gradually became associated with betrayal, heartbreak, divorce, and the difficult process of rebuilding a life while cameras were still watching. Melody was not simply dealing with the end of a marriage. She was dealing with the end of an identity that millions of viewers had connected to. She was a wife. She was a mother. She was a businesswoman. She was a reality star. And then she had to figure out who Melody was when one of those pieces no longer existed. That is what made her transformation so interesting. Instead of disappearing, she started expanding. Her beauty business became a major part of her identity. Her music became another outlet. She continued developing projects outside the original reality show environment. And she began showing that she was interested in something much bigger than simply being known as somebody's ex-wife or somebody from a television cast. Then came the decision that changed everything. In January 2025, Melody officially announced that she was leaving Love and Marriage Huntsville after 9 seasons. She thanked fans for their support, but made it clear that her chapter with the show was ending. In her statement, she described the experience as something that had given her opportunities while also teaching her difficult lessons about life, relationships, and friendships. And that decision was bigger than television. It was Melody deciding that the next version of her life would not be controlled by an old storyline. But here's the twist. Leaving reality television did not mean Melody was leaving entertainment. It meant she was changing her position inside it. Instead of being the person waiting for cameras to follow her, she wanted to become the person creating what the cameras were following. That difference may be the most important part of her future. In a 2025 interview with Ebony, Melody explained that she had already been thinking about what could come after reality television. She spoke about her production company, Tilted Crowns Productions, and Nubian TV, a network she described as a way to create opportunities for other people, particularly Black women, to expand their own platforms. She also revealed that Season 2 of Sharnita's World had already been filmed and was in editing at the time of the interview.
That is the part fans may have missed. The exit was not the ending. It was the transition. And if you look at her business activity now, the direction becomes even clearer. 7th Avenue Beauty is no longer being presented simply as a skincare line. The company's current platform includes body care and other beauty categories, while its press materials promote behind-the-scenes access, product development, new launches, and a private community connected to Melody Shari's world. And then there is another fascinating development, Melody's Patreon community. In March 2026, Melody Shari's World promoted an exclusive sit-down where she answered questions about why she created the Patreon, how it differs from reality television, what members can expect, and why community matters to her. That may sound like a small move. It isn't, because reality television gave fans access to Melody through a production company. Her private community gives her a different relationship with those same supporters. She gets to decide what she shares. She gets to control the environment. She gets to speak without an entire cast being placed around her. And perhaps most importantly, she gets to build a connection with supporters that does not depend on conflict. That is a huge change for someone whose public image was once heavily connected to relationship drama. For years, people watched Melody because something was happening around her. Now, she appears to be building spaces where people can follow her because of what she is creating, and that is a completely different type of audience. But there is another piece of this story that cannot be ignored. Melody is still a mother. She has 4 children, and she has spoken about the importance of involving them in her business journey. In her Ebony interview, she explained that she prioritizes her children and even lets them participate in parts of the business process, including helping with orders and ideas. She also spoke about showing them what hard work, dedication, and perseverance can create. That changes the emotional meaning behind all of this, because Melody is not only building a career, she is building an example. Her children watched a marriage fall apart. They watched their parents become the subject of public conversation. They experienced a life where private family struggles were no longer completely private. And now they get to watch their mother create something different. They get to see her make a decision and stand behind it. They get to see her turn business into something bigger. They get to see that leaving one door does not mean your entire future disappears. Sometimes it means you finally have room to build another door. And that is why Melody's future plans feel so personal.
This is not simply about money. It is not simply about fame. It is about ownership. Ownership of her story, ownership of her work, ownership of her time, and maybe most importantly, ownership of what comes next. Remember what she said when discussing her decision to leave Love and Marriage Huntsville? She explained that walking away had once again taught her what it looks like to go when she believes it is time to go, even without knowing exactly what the next step will look like. That is probably the biggest lesson in this entire story, because people often think a person needs to have every detail figured out before they can leave something behind. But Melody's journey shows the opposite. Sometimes you leave first, then you discover what you are capable of building. And that appears to be what happened here. Of course, fans are still going to speculate. Some will wonder whether Melody will ever return to reality television. Some will wonder whether her production company could eventually create a new reality franchise. Others will wonder whether her music career will become a bigger part of her identity. And there will always be people wondering about her personal life. Who is she dating? Will she ever remarry? Is she completely done with the old cast? Could she ever sit down with people from her past and clear the air? Those questions are going to follow her, because that is what happens when you spend years allowing audiences into your life. But the interesting part is that Melody does not appear to need those answers to move forward. She can keep building without explaining everything. She can keep creating without responding to every rumor. She can keep expanding without returning to the same conflicts. And that may be the most powerful form of revenge against a painful chapter. Not another argument, not another public confrontation, not another season of proving who was right, just growth. And that growth has already started changing how some fans view her. The woman they once watched survive heartbreak on reality television is now being recognized as an entrepreneur and media creator. The woman whose relationship problems once dominated conversations is now being discussed for business achievements. The woman people once connected with drama is building a brand around beauty, confidence, community, and entrepreneurship. That transformation did not happen overnight.
It came from years of surviving things that were painful enough to break somebody, but Melody kept going. And maybe that is why the next chapter feels so different. There is a certain freedom that comes when you no longer need the people who hurt you to understand your worth. You do not need an apology before you move forward. You do not need a reunion to explain everything. You do not need another argument to prove your side. You can simply build. And that is what Melody appears to be doing. The emotional impact of this transition is also bigger because fans became emotionally attached to the old version of her. They watched her during some of the hardest moments of her adult life. They watched her become a single mother. They watched her rebuild professionally. They watched her turn pain into music and business. And when she finally walked away from the show, many fans were left wondering what they would see next. Now they have an answer. They are seeing Melody as a founder, as a producer, as a beauty entrepreneur, as a media creator, as an artist, and as a woman who is deciding that her life does not have to remain trapped inside the story that made her famous. The irony is almost impossible to miss. Reality television made Melody Shari famous by showing people her life. Now she gets to decide what parts of that life become entertainment. That is a major shift, and it may be the most important thing she has done since leaving Huntsville, because the future she is creating does not depend on Martell Holt. It does not depend on Love and Marriage Huntsville. It does not depend on Carlos King. It does not depend on another cast member saying her name. It does not depend on a reunion. It depends on Melody. And that is why the phrase future plans feels so different in her case. She is not simply planning another project, she is building an ecosystem. Beauty gives her a product, music gives her a voice, production gives her creative control, Nubian TV gives her a platform, her private community gives her direct access to supporters, and her experiences give her a story that people already care about. Put all of that together, and suddenly the woman who walked away from reality television does not look like someone who lost a platform. She looks like someone who realized she could build several, and there is still more room to grow. In 2025, Melody said she was always creating and working, while pointing to music, fragrance, and other innovations as part of the next phase of her brand. By 2026, we had already seen a major beauty collaboration, continued product activity, a growing private community, and new conversations around entrepreneurship. So when fans say they are shocked by Melody's future plans, maybe the real surprise is not what she is doing. Maybe the surprise is how long she had been preparing to do it. Because while everyone else was watching the drama, she was watching the bigger picture. While people were arguing about her next television appearance, she was thinking about ownership. While fans were waiting for another storyline, she was creating another business opportunity. And while some people thought leaving the show meant she was stepping away from the spotlight, she may have simply been stepping away from the part of the spotlight she no longer wanted. That is a completely different thing. Melody Shari's story has never really been about having a perfect life. It has been about what happens after the perfect picture breaks. What do you do when the marriage ends? What do you do when people misunderstand you? What do you do when your private pain becomes public entertainment? What do you do when the platform that helped introduce you to the world no longer feels like the place you are supposed to stay? You make a decision, and then you build. That seems to be Melody's answer. So maybe the biggest plot twist is not that Melody left Love and Marriage Huntsville. Maybe it is that she left and discovered there was an entire world waiting for her outside of it. a world where she could create instead of react, a world where she could produce instead of simply participate, a world where she could sell her own products, develop her own projects, build her own community, and decide what her name represents. And if her recent moves are any indication, this is only the beginning. The next chapter may bring more beauty launches, more collaborations, more entertainment projects, more music, more production, and possibly even bigger opportunities through the media platforms she has been building. But there is one thing we should not overlook. Melody does not have to prove that she won. She doesn't have to defeat anybody from her past. She doesn't have to convince the people who doubted her. Her life is already moving forward. And maybe that is the message her journey leaves behind. Sometimes you have to disappoint people to save yourself. Sometimes you have to walk away from something you helped build. Sometimes the thing you thought was the end is actually the moment your real story begins. Melody Shari entered reality television as a woman with ambition. She leaves that chapter as a woman with a much bigger vision. And now, instead of asking whether she will ever return to the old world, maybe the better question is this: why would she? Why go back to a chapter when you are already writing a new book? Because the most powerful thing about Melody's future is not that fans are shocked. It is that she seems prepared. Prepared to build, prepared to create, prepared to take risks, prepared to turn her name into something bigger than a reality TV storyline. And after everything she has survived, maybe that's exactly what she deserves. The woman who once had to fight to be heard is now creating her own microphone. The woman who once had her story shaped by television is now shaping stories herself. And the woman people once watched trying to hold everything together is now building something entirely new. So the question is no longer, what will Melody Shari do after Love and Marriage Huntsville? The question is, how far can Melody Shari go when she is no longer limited by it? And honestly, that may be the part that should have everyone watching, because this time, Melody is not waiting for the next chapter to happen to her. She is creating it herself.